Alright guys, it's time to share with you the Raven Solitude. Now this is a particular model that myself and many others have been eagerly awaiting the arrival from Steve over at Raven. This was one he posted up on a Facebook group, some early concept pictures and ideas and sizes and all that good stuff. And there's a bit of a cult following for the Raven brand. That's for sure a thing. And this new model, there's a lot of depth to the case and to the bracelet and everything like that. So let's just get right into it. We'll talk about the size, and then like this one obviously has a countdown bezel, and then I have a gray dial over here with a standard dive bezel. But let's get into the features. So I measure the case at 42.5 millimeter, not including the gradual crown guards and the crown. So 42.5. If you measure at just the bezel, then you get 40 mil. So there was some talk of a 40 mil case. It is definitely a 42.5 mil with a 40 mil bezel. So get that out of the way. 47 millimeter lug to lug drilled lugs. Interesting case shape. You can see here the left side of it is kind of bellied out, similar to how you see a lot of Seikos, with a really nice defined polished relief line there, and then all brushed up top. And then on the crown side, you have basically what you would picture as the same case shape, but then it's interrupted with the crown guards, and they take up the belly there. So, and they shield the signed crown really well. Let's see, so that's 47, but you can see on the bracelet here, it does extend out a little bit past, so that's probably going to end up being closer to 50. I didn't measure it, but you can articulate it because of the short links on the bracelet. You can articulate it over and get it to lay pretty flat, so it's going to be really comfortable on the wrist, as you would expect. Thickness is a 13.5. You have a ever so slightly domed sapphire crystal with a little bit of a chamfer along the edge here. You can see that it's going to play with the light a little bit. And of course, it's going to have anti-reflective coating on the underside. 20 millimeter lug width here. And this bracelet tapers down to an 18 mil. Now, the bracelet itself is actually really interesting looking as well and very cleanly done. I'm actually kind of happy that Steve went with a pin and collar. It's very robust, and I forget what link it is, but one of the links has the center link here is what I'm referring to, has the collar captured in there, and then the pin is super robust and it goes all the way through and holds it in place. So it's going to be a really good secure bracelet. All milled out clasp, simple double pusher here. Of course, it has the Raven laser engraved out of there. And then you have 3 micro adjust, and then you have a on the fly quick adjust here for dive extension. So you're going to be able to get whatever size you need, fitted really nice, nicely done, engraved screw down case back, solid end links, of course. So pretty much everything you would expect from a Raven. Heavily loomed, nicely applied indices, really nice oversized handset, tons of real estate for loom, as you can see. This one has a really deep dark dial. There's also, I think, a fan favorite is going to be a white dial, basically this watch right here with the red and blue bezel countdown, but with a white dial. So Steve asked me if I wanted to see that one. I'm like, that's the one that I think everyone's gravitating towards, and you guys know how I am. I kind of gravitate towards the ones that maybe others are just overlooking because the white was getting so much attention. This one actually appealed to me the most. And then he also included this gray one just so we can get a look at the dive bezel as an option as well. So there's some other colors. There's a DLC coated case. I'll put a link in the description. There's a bunch of different colorways. You can, well, not a bunch, but there's plenty of colorways. There's even a green dial with like gold accents. So pretty sweet there. And with bracelet, I think you are looking at a price tag of $480. There's some other strap options. If you delete the bracelet, I think you're going to be down to $430. But I would pretty much go with the bracelet. I think that's going to be the way to go, especially with this one, because the bracelets, I don't know if he sells it separately or whatever. You might be able to figure out a different strap option or something like that. But being that it's a 20 mil lug width, I think you're going to be able to find a NATO. Like this has a toxic NATO on there, but you're going to find whatever NATO you like, or a rubber strap or something like that. Here it is on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. I actually wore this watch when I went down to Chicago for that Microlux event. I pretty much wore this watch Friday and Saturday all day. I wore it at the event and everything like that. I actually got a couple of scratches there. Sorry, Steve. So, stellar watch, and I did actually use the countdown timer bezel recently too, so that was nice to have. Oddly enough, I used it at Giordano's, which is a deep dish pizza place, and late Saturday night I had ordered a pizza and they said it was going to be about 45 minutes. So I did a countdown timer timing my pizza. So, and they were right on time. So it is a unidirectional countdown timer, and the bezel action is very clean and crisp. It is a 120 click. So, you know, if you wanted to do a countdown of 35 minutes, then you just put that there and it's going to count down to 0. So once you get the minute hand over here to there, then it's been 35 minutes. So for me, in my personal life, I think a countdown bezel, once you adapt to using it versus a dive bezel, because I've timed a bunch of stuff with a dive bezel too, it can be kind of handy. So I think that's more realistic function for a lot of us in the desk diving world or whatever world you're in. So let's take a closer look at the gray dial. You can see the gray dial is kind of like almost like a putty gray. But it has some sheen to it, and it just works really good. If you're looking for something a little bit different, I don't see this color of gray very often. I know another fan favorite thing is the Raven logo just above the Raven printing there. And I do like his new font that you have there too. 300 meter water resist. Trying to cover everything, guys. This has a Seiko NH35 movement in it and BGW9 loom. We'll do a loom shot at the end. So a really nice crown pop. I will say operating, let me zoom back out. Operating the crown is a little tricky because the way the lugs are designed, they kind of drop down, so you don't have as much access to the crown on the bottom side. But finding it totally usable. It's just if you know, you'd notice that in feel of operation. So you're going to have a really nice smooth wind when you first get that pop. The first, well, I went past it, but that hacks it, that stops the seconds hand, and then of course you're going to be able to adjust your time here. I really like his handset and his indices and everything. Is just very easily read watch for sure. So, and you can see here will be the date change, and then if you look closely, you can see he's got some really good gaskets, rubber gaskets going on there to seal it, and like no crown wobble. So really good, solid construction on this guy. Easy to screw in. It grabs the threads, no problems. So once you get that in there, don't forget to screw that in there. And then of course this dive bezel, again, 120 click. Very, very good feeling bezel action, and everything lines up perfectly. So let me do a comparison to an SKX. Again, I forgot to get the darn thing out. Just give me one moment so you guys have a somewhat of a visual comparison here. So there's the Raven Solitude next to a Seiko SKX 009. Both of them have that red and blue bezel action. Of course, the Raven should be ceramic. This one almost looks like metal, though. I'll have to double check on the website. Don't quote me on that one, guys, but it's got a really nice sheen to it. But all right, let's do that loom shot. Raven is not going to disappoint. They're going to be heavily applied BGW9, so it's going to have that bluish tone to it. So you can see there, just loomed right out. I really like that countdown bezel. It is so functional. So, all right, guys, there it is. Big thanks to Steve over at Raven for sending these in to share with us. And I will see you on the next video.